Let's make some fun, colorful donuts using Model Magic air dry clay. I'm starting with some pre-colored Model Magic here, but you can always use white clay and add your own color using markers. I have a tutorial for how to do that in the description below, so check that out if you're interested. I'm working with a few small pieces of primary colors, a small piece of white, and a large piece of brown clay. The brown clay is going to be the base of my donut. I'm working it in my hands a little bit and then rolling it into a ball. Now I'm going to use the palm of my hand to press just a little bit so that it is slightly flattened. And then I'm using a regular size Sharpie to poke a hole through the middle. I think I want the hole to be a little bit wider, so I'm going to use my finger to press along the inside so that the clay stretches just a tiny bit more. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm ready to start adding my frosting and some details and decorations like sprinkles or chocolate chips or whatever I'd like. The possibilities are endless. I think I'd like to add some pink frosting to my donut, so I need to mix some red and white together in order to make pink. When we add white to any color, it's called a tint. To create a tint using clay, you'll need more white and just a little bit of the color. Fun fact, the opposite of a tint is called a shade. In color mixing, if black is added to a color to create a darker version of the color, it's called a shade. Okay, I'm just about finished mixing my pink frosting, and now I'm ready to start experimenting with it. One idea could be to press it into a slab and then lay it on top of the donut. One thing you want to be careful of when you're experimenting is if you lay it onto your donut and you press down, it's going to be really tricky to get it back off. So if you're experimenting, do not press down at all when you lay it on your donut. Another idea could be to roll a long, thin coil and kind of maybe lay it all over the donut, kind of like big rope of frosting. Or I could maybe just roll little tiny dots all over it to make colorful sprinkles. I think my favorite idea was the slab idea, so I'm going to go with that. Start by rolling it into a ball, and then I'm using my palm and pressing down so that it becomes much thinner. Then I'm going to stretch the edges so that when I lay it on top of the donut, it looks like the frosting is dripping down the sides of the donut. Now I'm using my fingers and thumb to press the frosting and make sure it's securely attached to the base. I also covered the donut hole by adding the frosting. If you want the hole to be covered, that's totally fine. I'd like the hole to be visible, so I'm just going to use my marker again and poke the hole through the frosting. Just like that. Next, I'm going to start adding some decorations. I think I'd like to make some different colored sprinkles for my donut, but you could do something totally different for yours if you'd like. You are the artist, so you get to decide. Now I'm going to make a very light colored yellow by using some white clay and a tiny bit of yellow and mixing them together. Do you remember what it's called when we mix white with a color? That's right, it's called a tint. Remember, the color choices that you decide are completely up to you. If you want to make a tint, go for it. If you'd rather explore making different colors by mixing, that's cool too. Always remember that you are the artist, so there is never a wrong answer for your art. If it feels right to you, it probably is. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you found it helpful. And most importantly, I hope you have an awesome time creating your very own Model Magic donuts.